Hi, so unfortunately it's safe to say that Star Wars is in a lot of trouble. That's not just my opinion. I really hated The Last Jedi. When I first watched it, there was points that I kind of enjoyed, but when I watched it again and looked at about how it fits into the whole history of Star Wars, it's a really terrible, god-awful movie that's really devastating that it was ever made. And if we look at the recent reviews of the Star Wars movies, we've got Last Jedi, 87%, Rogue One, 86%. Very good movies. I really enjoyed both movies. Rogue One took a different element with it not being part of the Star Wars canon and standalone movie. I think it worked really well. The Force Awakens, I thought it was a really good film. It was like a retelling of the original Star Wars, which I can understand, because you have to understand that Star Wars needs to attract a whole new set of fans, and if they're repeating something 40 years ago, I can really accept that. You know, it's like a relaunch of Star Wars, and I really don't mind. I thought it was really good, really funny parts. I thought the way that Han Solo was introduced was really good, really classic Star Wars. Some of the funny elements, some of the elements that drew you in as a kid that made it really fun. So I really enjoyed The Force Awakens. Until we get to The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi was a terrible, god-awful film. I can't believe they made it, and the reviews are 45%. So it's not just me; it's widely disliked. Now Solo, the reviews are 64, which is bouncing back up. But you have to remember, this Solo movie crashed at the box office. This made around $360 million at the box office. So although the reviews are slightly higher, it didn't make any money at the box office. And actually made a loss. So still, Star Wars is in a lot of trouble, and J.J. Abrams has got a real challenge ahead of him to revive Star Wars and make Episode 9 a sort of redeemable movie that can get Star Wars back on track. And we're trying to come up with a way that can do that. And as far as I'm aware, there's only one logical way, and that is for General Hux and the Resistance to come together in some form of alliance, some form of not a planned alliance where they sort of strategize together, but they're on the same side, and they fight off against Kylo Ren. Well, the reason is that Kylo Ren has kind of destroyed the role that General Hux had. General Hux could have been a very dominant, very powerful character, but now he's being made to look quite stupid by Kylo Ren's force. So General Hux will see Kylo Ren as a real threat, to the point where Kylo Ren might even kill him. So General Hux will use the First Order military power that he has to face off against Kylo Ren, and that will put him in league with the Resistance. So there will be a fracture within Kylo Ren and the First Order, and that will force Kylo Ren to look to join the Knights of Ren. So that will bring in more characters. What happened in the First Order? All the characters were made to look powerless, weak and stupid. I can't understand why they did what they did. They've almost ruined Star Wars. It's on its like life support almost. Now, one way to revive it is to bring in more characters. Now, there has been a talk of bringing back Palpatine, or bringing back some former characters from the original Star Wars or from the prequel trilogy. And I think they're a bit of a real mistake, because you have to remember that Star Wars needs to bring in younger viewers. You know, he has to bring in the next generation of Star Wars fans. And if they're bringing back old characters, that might confuse some of the younger people trying to get into Star Wars. So they have to make it all fresh and bring these new characters. And I think bringing the Knights of Ren could really work. And having the First Order working with the Resistance could make it more of a triangle, much more interesting. So instead of just Kylo Ren versus Rey, which is really boring, it's not going to lead to anything interesting or exciting. But making a triangle where these two work together, so there's an element of trust. So it's like a triangle instead of a flat line of just these two characters facing off against each other, which is as dull as dishwater that nobody really wants to watch. There'll be no real benefit to it. But by having the First Order Rey working together, there'll be 4 real benefits. Number one, it will make more use of General Hux and the First Order. So instead of being sidelined to the point where they're not really relevant to the story, because it's just these two characters facing off against each other, it really rebuilds the threat that the First Order have. Number two, it will rebuild the conflict between Kylo Ren and General Hux. So again, instead of just these two characters facing off against each other in Episode 9, it will bring in this confrontation. So there'll be like a triangle or confrontation between the First Order, the Knights of Ren, and the Resistance. Number 3, it raised the profile of Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren was almost embarrassed Luke Skywalker. Kylo Ren seemed to have no awareness that Luke Skywalker may be using his Force and may not actually be there. It was a terrible, terrible storyline that they used in the Last Jedi. And number 4, it means that Rey no longer has to rely on this Mary Sue complex, because she needs help. She needs the First Order to battle against Kylo Ren. So it will get rid of this Mary Sue complex. Rey accepts that she needs help and she turns to the First Order, or she accepts the help from the First Order. And also, when the Last Jedi ended by Kylo Ren offering a peace deal with Rey, so they would join the forces and bring an end to the war, and Rey rejected that, which was quite understandable because she didn't want this sort of dark element to exist within the world or the universe. So this will frustrate Kylo Ren, even embarrass Kylo Ren and make him look as if he's made a terrible mistake, and that will give him motivation to come back. Now, what else needs to happen is we need to build the character of Rey. She looked as if, again, she was a Mary Sue. Now, towards the end of The Last Jedi, we had this scene where we've got Rey being able to move the rocks, and she's using the Jedi Force, but she doesn't know how to use it. She's almost confused. She doesn't understand how she's using the Force. So between now and the next episode, what we need is Rey to go away. The only real alternative is for her to train herself. So she goes away and uses the Jedi Force to move tons upon tons of boulders, like really a mountain of boulders. So it's like somebody learning the martial arts. They repeat the process thousands of times, and that shows that she is under some form of training. It's getting away from a Mary Sue complex. So again, the only real way I can see Episode 9 really working on a logical sense and getting away from this complete trash, this 45% complete trash that should never have been made, should never have been even conceived, getting away from this 45% score and getting back up to here, the only logical method is to rebuild the character and put them in a sort of triangle where they're facing off against each other. Do these characters trust each other? And so instead of just this, which is really boring, we need to bring in more characters. And the Knights of Ren, we could see, well, could one of these characters, individuals, emerge as a threat to Kylo Ren? How well led is the Knights of Ren? These are real opportunities where just having this is as dull as dishwater. And I don't think anyone will want to watch it, and they need to do something. I think the only real option or answer is to have this form of triangle facing off against each other. So let me know what you think. I really hope episode 9 can bounce back and revive Star Wars. But let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think will happen in episode 9. And thank you for watching.